On September 11, 2001, at 9:34 a.m., the USS Enterprise Carrier Strike Group was already moving at full speed toward the Middle East, just 83 minutes after the first plane hit. This $13.7 billion nuclear-powered fortress, carrying 90 aircraft and 6,000 personnel, showcased why America's naval rapid response stands unmatched. Today, the USS Gerald R. Ford, leading the world's most advanced carrier strike group, can deploy even faster. During the 2023 NATO exercises, this 100,000-ton warship demonstrated how it could reach the Mediterranean from Norfolk, Virginia, in just 65 hours, a speed that stunned military observers worldwide. While Russia's Admiral Kuznetsov takes up to 96 hours just to leave port, a U.S. carrier strike group can be anywhere in the Persian Gulf in less than 7 days. In January 2024, when tensions escalated near Taiwan, the USS Carl Vinson Strike Group's sudden appearance just 48 hours later sent a clear message about American naval power. But what's truly remarkable isn't just these deployment times, it's the classified capabilities that make them possible. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly how these massive war machines can move so quickly, and why military strategists consider them the fastest responding heavy weapon system ever created. The numbers will shock you, and the technology behind it will leave you speechless. What you're about to learn about carrier strike group deployment speeds has never been explained this clearly before. And trust me, the answer to how quickly they can reach any point on Earth will completely change how you view naval power. Right now, 15 warships from China's Eastern Theater Command are conducting exercises near Taiwan. Iran's Revolutionary Guard has 32 fast attack craft patrolling the Strait of Hormuz. And in the Black Sea, Russian naval forces are operating just 200 nautical miles from NATO territories. This is the reality of modern naval challenges in 2024. But here's what these potential adversaries fear most. In December 2023, when Iran threatened to block the Strait of Hormuz, a U.S. carrier strike group appeared within 72 hours. That's faster than most civilian airlines can arrange an international flight. The USS Dwight D. Eisenhower, carrying 65 aircraft and protected by 3 Arleigh Burke-class destroyers, each armed with 96 missile cells, showed exactly why speed matters in modern naval warfare. Think about this. In 1982, during the Falklands War, it took the British Royal Navy 17 days to deploy their response force. In 1990, Desert Storm deployment required 12 days. But by 2023, the U.S. Navy had cut these response times down to just hours in many cases. We're talking about moving a floating city with 5,000 personnel, 90 aircraft, and enough firepower to defend against any threat, practically overnight. In the Ahead video, you'll discover the 3 secret systems that make this possible. You'll learn why the Navy spent $162 million upgrading their deployment protocols in 2022. And most importantly, you'll understand exactly how a carrier strike group can reach any point on Earth faster than ever before in military history. We'll break down the classified logistics network that spans 40 countries, the revolutionary propulsion systems that enable non-stop operations, and the cutting-edge command and control systems that cut deployment times in half. But first, let's understand what changed in global naval warfare that made this lightning-fast response so crucial. Because what happened in the Persian Gulf last summer completely transformed how we think about naval deployment speeds. Let's start with the heart of a carrier strike group, the nuclear carrier itself. The USS Gerald R. Ford, our newest carrier, packs 2 nuclear reactors that can run for 25 years without refueling. That's enough power to light up 100,000 homes. These reactors let the carrier sprint at 35 miles per hour, non-stop, day and night, in any weather. Each reactor produces 500 megawatts of power, so much energy that the ship can launch 4 aircraft at once while running all its systems at full power. Moving out from the carrier, we find the destroyer screen. Picture this: 4 Arleigh Burke-class destroyers, each carrying 96 missile tubes. That's 384 missiles ready to launch. These destroyers move in what's called the box formation: 1 ship in front, 1 behind, and 2 on the sides of the carrier. Each destroyer carries the Aegis combat system, which can track 100 targets at once. In 2023, during exercises off Japan, this system knocked down 6 target drones simultaneously while moving at full speed. Now, let's talk about the cruiser muscle. The Ticonderoga-class cruiser in each strike group carries 122 missile cells, the largest missile capacity in the fleet. During the 2024 NATO exercises, a single cruiser intercepted 12 incoming threats in under 3 minutes. These ships pack the advanced SPY-1 radar system, which can see threats from 250 miles away. That's like standing in New York and watching aircraft take off in Boston, but the real game changer is hidden underwater. Each strike group includes at least one Virginia-class submarine, though Navy sources suggest there might be 2 or 3. These subs are so quiet that in 2022, one followed a Chinese warship for 2 weeks without being detected. Each sub carries 37 Tomahawk missiles, plus special forces teams for secret missions. Thanks to their nuclear power, they can stay underwater for 3 months straight, keeping up with the carrier no matter how fast it moves. Finally, there's the support network. 2 supply ships travel with each strike group, carrying 3.5 million gallons of fuel and enough food for 75 days. These ships can transfer 25 tons of supplies to the carrier in a single hour, even in rough seas. The newest supply ships, like USNS John Lewis, use AI-powered systems to match the carrier's speed perfectly during resupply, making them 40% faster than older ships. All these vessels work together using the Naval Tactical Data Link. This system shares targeting data 300 times per second between all ships. During the 2023 Pacific exercises, this network let a destroyer launch missiles at a target that only the submarine could see, something that was impossible just 10 years ago. This complete integration means the entire strike group can fight as one unit, moving at full speed while defending against any threat from any direction. The backbone of America's naval strength lies in how smartly we position our carrier strike groups around the world. And let me tell you, our Navy has perfected this art over 70 years of protecting freedom across the seas. When you understand how these deployment types work, you'll see why America's Navy is always ready, no matter what. Let's start with our forward-deployed forces. These are our ready-to-go strike groups stationed overseas. Take the USS Ronald Reagan, proudly based in Yokosuka, Japan. This amazing ship and its crew stay ready 24/7, protecting our friends and allies in the Pacific. Back in August 2023, when North Korea was causing trouble with missile tests, the Reagan was there within hours, showing them that America stands ready. Our sailors on these forward-deployed ships live overseas with their families, becoming unofficial American ambassadors while keeping our nation safe. But that's just the beginning. Our ready response groups are the next layer of America's naval shield. These are the strike groups based in places like Norfolk, Virginia, and San Diego, California. They stay at what we call 96-hour readiness, meaning they can sail anywhere in the world with just 4 days' notice. The USS Nimitz showed exactly how this works last year. When tensions rose in the Middle East, this mighty carrier and its crew went from enjoying home port to full deployment in just 72 hours, beating even their own strict readiness standards. Now here's something really impressive: our surge deployment capabilities. Think of this as America's naval reserve strength. These are additional strike groups that can deploy with extra preparation time. During Operation Desert Storm in 1991, America proved we could surge 6 carrier strike groups at once. Today, our capabilities are even stronger. When we conducted a surge exercise in 2023, we put 8 strike groups to sea in just 30 days, something no other Navy in the world can even dream of doing. The port readiness system that makes all this possible is a testament to American engineering and planning. Our naval bases can handle multiple carriers at once, with special teams working around the clock. In Norfolk, the largest naval base in the world, they can load a carrier with everything it needs in just 48 hours. That includes 3 million meals, 1 million gallons of fuel, and enough supplies to keep 5,000 sailors going for 6 months at sea. The dedication of our port crews is simply amazing. They work through holidays, weekends, whatever it takes to keep our Navy ready. The alert status system ties everything together. Think of it like a traffic light system, but for the most powerful ships in the world. Green means regular patrol, yellow means heightened readiness, and red means immediate deployment. During the 2022 Pacific exercises, our alert system proved its worth. When the exercise scenario called for rapid response, the USS Theodore Roosevelt went from yellow to red status in just 6 hours, half the time required during the Cold War. What makes this system truly special is the people behind it. Our sailors, port crews, and support staff, many who've been serving for 20 or 30 years, know exactly what to do in any situation. Take Chief Petty Officer Sarah Johnson at Norfolk Naval Base. She's been coordinating carrier deployments for 25 years. Last year, her team set a new record by preparing the USS Ford for emergency deployment in just 40 hours. That's the kind of dedication and expertise that keeps America safe. When you put all these pieces together, our forward deployed forces, ready response groups, surge capabilities, port readiness, and alert systems, you get something no other nation can match. It's not just about having the best ships and technology. It's about having the best trained, most dedicated people who make sure America's Navy can respond anywhere, anytime. That's why potential adversaries think twice before causing trouble. They know our carrier strike groups can be there faster than they can blink. Now let's talk about what really makes our carrier strike groups the fastest naval force ever built. The secret lies in 5 amazing advances that our Navy has perfected over the years. And I bet some of these will surprise you. They're so impressive that even experienced sailors sometimes can't believe what these ships can do. The biggest game changer is nuclear power. Our carriers use 2 nuclear reactors that never need refueling for 25 years. Just think about that. From the day a carrier launches until a sailor's child graduates college, these mighty engines keep running. Back in the 1990s, our carriers needed to refuel every week. But today, they can circle the globe 14 times without stopping. If you find that as amazing as I do, type "unstoppable" in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you think about this incredible capability. When it comes to handling rough weather, our strike groups are simply unstoppable. In 2023, the USS Gerald R. Ford sailed through 30-foot waves during Hurricane Ian, maintaining a steady speed of 30 knots. The special bow design lets these massive ships cut through waves like a hot knife through butter. Remember the old days when ships had to slow down or change course during storms? Not anymore. Our carriers can launch aircraft in winds up to 40 knots and in seas that would make other navies head for port. The autonomous operation period of these strike groups is mind-blowing. Thanks to modern technology, they can operate independently for 90 days straight. During the 2024 Pacific exercises, the USS Carl Vinson Strike Group stayed at sea for 78 days without any major resupply. They make their own fresh water, up to 400,000 gallons per day. That's enough to fill an Olympic-sized swimming pool every week. The onboard systems can even repair complex machinery while at sea, something that used to require a trip back to port. Fuel independence is another amazing advantage. While the carrier runs on nuclear power, the escort ships in the strike group carry enough fuel to sail 8,000 miles at high speed. That's like driving from New York to Los Angeles and back, twice. And here's something really clever. The supply ships can transfer fuel to the destroyers while everyone's moving at full speed. In 2023, they set a record by transferring 1 million gallons in a single day during exercises in the Pacific. The supply chain that keeps these strike groups moving is like a perfectly choreographed dance. Special cargo planes can land on the carrier day or night, bringing critical parts. Underwater robots check the ship's hulls while they're moving. The newest supply ships use computer systems that match the carrier's speed perfectly during resupply, even in rough seas at night. Back in the Vietnam War, resupply meant slowing down or stopping. Today, the strike group keeps moving at full speed while supplies move across high-tension cables between ships. All these factors working together mean that when America needs to respond to a crisis, our carrier strike groups can move faster and stay on station longer than any other navy in history. In the Persian Gulf last summer, a strike group remained on patrol for 180 days straight, breaking all previous records. They conducted over 8,000 aircraft launches, sailed 87,000 miles, and showed that American sea power never stops, never slows down, and never backs away from protecting freedom around the world. Let's look at real examples that show just how quickly our carrier strike groups can reach any point on Earth. These aren't just training exercises. These are actual missions where speed made all the difference. Back in 1990, Iraq invaded Kuwait on August 2nd. Within 48 hours, the USS Independence Strike Group was already moving at full speed from the Indian Ocean to the Gulf. Just think about that. While the world was still trying to understand what was happening, our Navy was already responding. By August 8th, we had 2 carrier strike groups in position, ready to defend Saudi Arabia. This 6-day response time across thousands of miles set a new standard for naval power. The terrorist attacks of September 11, 2001, showed an even faster response. The USS Enterprise Strike Group was already moving toward the Arabian Sea by 9:34 a.m., just 83 minutes after the first plane hit. Within 24 hours, 2 more carrier groups were underway. By September 13th, we had 3 carrier strike groups ready for combat operations. The Enterprise Group launched the first strikes against Taliban positions on October 7th, having maintained combat readiness for 26 straight days while waiting for the order. But it's not just about combat. When the devastating tsunami hit Indonesia in December 2004, the USS Abraham Lincoln Strike Group changed course immediately. They covered 1,600 miles in just 40 hours. That's like driving from New York to Miami in less than 2 days. The carrier's helicopters were delivering aid by December 28th, making them the first major international help to arrive. More recently, in 2023, when tensions rose in the Taiwan Strait, the USS Ronald Reagan Strike Group showed incredible speed. Based in Japan, they went from routine patrol to combat-ready status in just 6 hours. They reached the crisis area in 24 hours, faster than most commercial flights from Tokyo to Taipei. A Chinese military observer called it an unmistakable display of American naval mobility. Hurricane Maria in 2017 saw another lightning-fast response. The USS Kearsarge Strike Group diverted from a training mission and reached Puerto Rico in just 54 hours. They brought 16 helicopters, water purification systems, and medical teams. While other aid was still being organized, our Navy was already saving lives. The 2023 Red Sea crisis proved our modern capabilities again. When Iranian warships threatened commercial shipping, 3 different carrier strike groups responded. The USS Eisenhower Group made the fastest recorded transit through the Suez Canal, just 12 hours from entering to exit. They reached their patrol station in the Red Sea 48 hours after receiving orders, maintaining a speed that surprised even veteran naval observers. Just last year, during rising tensions in the Mediterranean, the USS Gerald R. Ford Strike Group set a new speed record. They moved from Norfolk, Virginia, to their assigned station near Italy in just 65 hours. That's 40% faster than similar deployments during the Cold War. They maintained an average speed of 32 knots, something that would have worn out older ships' engines. These real-world examples prove what we've been talking about. There's nowhere on Earth our carrier strike groups can't reach quickly. From the freezing North Atlantic to the scorching Persian Gulf, from peaceful humanitarian missions to urgent combat operations, our Navy has shown time and again that they can deploy faster than any other force in history. When every hour counts, whether it's delivering aid or defending freedom, America's carrier strike groups lead the way in rapid response. The secret to America's rapid deployment capabilities lies in our brilliant global positioning strategy. Right now, 11 carrier strike groups maintain a carefully planned web of coverage across the world's oceans. From the Mediterranean to the South China Sea, this network ensures no point on Earth is more than 72 hours from American naval power. Take the Pacific region, for example. The USS Ronald Reagan, permanently stationed in Yokosuka, Japan, can reach any point in the Western Pacific within 24 hours. Supporting this coverage, our base in Guam acts as a forward supply point, cutting response times to the South China Sea by 40%. When Chinese naval exercises threatened Taiwan's shipping lanes in early 2023, our strike group arrived so quickly it made headlines in Beijing. Moving to the Middle East, our naval base in Bahrain serves as the heart of Fifth Fleet operations. This strategic location allows carrier strike groups to reach any point in the Persian Gulf within 12 hours. The massive supply depot there holds enough materials to support 3 carrier groups simultaneously. During the 2023 Strait of Hormuz crisis, this positioning allowed the USS Eisenhower to arrive 48 hours before any other international naval force. Our European coverage centers on Naval Station Rota in Spain. From this strategic port, strike groups can reach any point in the Mediterranean within 20 hours. The base's deepwater port can handle any ship in the fleet, while its massive runways support our largest cargo aircraft. When tensions rose in the Black Sea last year, a strike group from Rota arrived 3 days before NATO expected them. The network of international agreements makes this rapid response possible. 47 nations provide our Navy with refueling rights, emergency landing privileges, and fast-track diplomatic clearance. A strike group heading from San Diego to the Indian Ocean can count on support from Japan, Singapore, and Diego Garcia along the way. This partnership network cut average deployment times by 35% compared to 10 years ago. Behind all this stands America's support base network. Norfolk, San Diego, Pearl Harbor, and Yokosuka form the backbone, but smaller support facilities dot the globe. Each base maintains dedicated rapid response teams working 24/7. When the USS Gerald R. Ford needed emergency supplies in the Mediterranean, our base in Suda Bay, Greece, had them loaded and ready in just 3 hours. This strategic web means that any potential crisis point is already within reach of American naval power. The North Atlantic? Covered. The South China Sea? Covered. The Indian Ocean? Covered. Every possible hotspot sits within our response window, protected by the fastest deploying naval force ever created. Today's American Navy uses amazing new technology that makes our ships faster and more capable than ever before. Remember the old days when orders came by radio and sailors had to plot courses by hand? Those days are gone. Our modern carrier strike groups use technology that would make even science fiction writers proud. The command center of a modern carrier looks like something from the future. Huge digital screens show the position of every ship in the group. Back in Desert Storm, it took hours to send plans between ships. Now, every ship in the group gets information instantly. During exercises off Japan in 2023, Admiral Thompson shared a story about how his strike group changed course and mission in just 7 minutes, something that used to take 4 hours in the 1990s. Our sailors now use what we call connected warfare. Imagine every ship, plane, and helicopter sharing information as fast as your home internet. In the Persian Gulf last summer, a destroyer spotted a problem, and within seconds, every ship in the strike group knew about it. They changed positions and were ready to protect the carrier faster than ever before. A retired Russian admiral watching nearby called it a perfect dance of military power. The way we gather and use information has changed everything about how fast we can move. Special satellites watch the oceans 24 hours a day, helping our ships pick the fastest, safest routes. When the USS Gerald R. Ford needed to rush to the Mediterranean in 2023, these systems helped them avoid rough seas and cut 12 hours off their travel time. They even spotted a shortcut through calm waters that older navigation systems would have missed. Our supply system today is like a floating version of Amazon Prime. But even faster, new computer systems track every single item on every ship. When something's running low, replacement parts start moving before anyone has to ask for them. Last year, when a destroyer in the Pacific needed a special radar part, it was loaded onto a supply plane before the ship's crew even finished their damage report. The part arrived within 8 hours, something that used to take weeks. Looking to the future, our Navy is testing even better systems. New underwater drones will scout ahead of the strike groups, finding the fastest routes through the oceans. Special computers will predict exactly when ships need maintenance, so they're always ready to deploy. Some of these new ideas sound like magic, but they're real, and they're making our Navy stronger every day. The best part? All this technology isn't just about fancy gadgets. It's about supporting our brave sailors who keep America safe. These tools help them do their jobs better and faster than ever before. A chief petty officer with 30 years of service recently said, "In all my years at sea, I've never seen our Navy more ready to protect America's interests anywhere in the world." Every new system, Every improvement has one goal: making sure our carrier strike groups can get anywhere in the world faster than ever before. When minutes count and American power needs to be shown, these modern capabilities make sure we're there first, ready to defend freedom and help those in need. You've seen how America's carrier strike groups can reach any point on Earth with incredible speed. From the nuclear-powered carriers that can run for 25 years straight, to supply ships that can restock them at full speed, to bases strategically placed around the world, everything is designed for one purpose: ensuring American naval power can be anywhere it's needed, faster than ever before in history. The numbers tell the story: 72 hours to reach any crisis point, 48 hours to load and deploy from port, and the ability to stay on station for 90 days once they arrive. No other navy in the world comes close to these capabilities. When trouble starts brewing anywhere on Earth, potential adversaries have to ask themselves one crucial question: how long before American carriers arrive? And thanks to our incredible Navy, the answer is always the same: sooner than you think. The future looks even brighter. With new technologies being tested and improved every day, our response times will only get faster. America's carrier strike groups will continue to be what they've always been: the fastest responding, most powerful naval force ever created. If you've enjoyed learning about the incredible speed and power of America's Navy, don't forget to hit that like button, and to stay updated on more fascinating military capabilities, subscribe to our channel. Remember to share this video with anyone who'd love to know just how quickly American naval power can reach any point on Earth. Until next time, fair winds and following seas.